I said to our guys yesterday morning, 32 teams started in September, and we were one of 4 playing in June. So that's a pretty big step. When I look, I've been here for 3 years, and when I look at the way we've played in the playoffs, or the play-in series against Chicago, and then I looked the way we played last year against Winnipeg, and the way we looked in the playoffs this year, we've made great strides in the way that we've playing in playoff hockey. I believe we had the highest point total, Oilers point total in 35 years with 104 points. Saying all that, that's the positives. The negatives are we're having a press conference today because we're out. I think we got beat by a better team. They've been the best team in the West, I think, over the last 2 or 3 years. They won the President's Trophy last year. I think they were second overall this year. 3 games were decided by basically a goal if you take out the empty netters, games 1, 3, and 4. So I think we've made lots of progress. We've got more work to do. Every off season's a busy off season. We've got lots of difficult decisions to make this off season, but I think that we're going in the right direction in terms of, obviously the ultimate goal, Terry, is to win the Stanley Cup. And when you've got the nucleus and the core that we've got, that's as the manager, that's what I'm trying to do, is to build around that core of people and to eventually take another step. But I think that we had lots of positives this year.
You're the general manager. Can you update us on some of the more significant injuries that compromise your players, specifically starting with Draisaitl?
Well, he was playing with a high ankle sprain. He got hurt, I think, game 6 in LA when Mikey Anderson body slammed him. And it was a struggle. You guys saw, he was going down the odd game. He'd go down after a shift, he'd go down, he'd come back, and he was playing in a lot of pain. So, for me, watching what he went through, obviously he couldn't practice. He only could play, and he played, but he had 30, 35, 33, 34 points. It was unbelievable at the level that he played at with what he was going through. Nuge was playing with an injured shoulder. You got Nurse with the hip flexor. The last game, Jesse hurt his shoulder. Come playoff time, they play, but I think it's probably Jesse's a 4 to 6 week injury. Smitty Yamamoto was in concussion protocol. So, and then beyond that, I went through it this morning with TD Force. There's 5, 6, 7 other guys that were playing banged up, but this time of the year, that's what NHL players do. They play banged up.
Evander Kane, how hard are you going to push to bring him back? Do you believe you can bring him back?
Obviously he's an unrestricted free agent. Am I interested in bringing him back? Yes, I think he had a big impact on our team. Not only his ability to score goals, but he plays with an edge. I thought there was wonderful chemistry between him and Connor. He didn't play in the first power play. He played on the second power play. So I thought we were deeper. When he joined our team, he made our team deeper. So can I keep him? Yeah. Again, his cap number is $2 million. I don't expect him to play for a $2 million cap number next year. I don't know what it is. I'd have to sit and talk to his agent, Dan Milstein, but again, I've got decisions to make and got to go through a process.
Just following up on that, Ken, do you have an indication that Evander is open to or would like to stay here if the contract is doable? Have you had any of those discussions about what he wants?
I do not. I think he's my last interview today. Next week I'll call the agents for all these, some of these players that we're talking about. So I do not know.
On Jay Woodcroft, obviously this team took steps. It was a pretty significant turnaround when he got here, but what's the process that happens now, and do you expect him to be back as head coach next year?
I just told Jay this morning that, I got to get through the next couple of days, and he and I'd sit down early next week, Monday or Tuesday, and I think he did a fabulous job. Obviously, when he took over, Dave Manson came up with him. And I told the coaches yesterday, I also thought the coaches that were here, they had a loyalty to Dave Tippett. He had hired them, and that they found real good chemistry amongst, the coaching staff that stayed back along when Woody came up. And that, I think we were at 6 or 7 points out of a playoff spot, and what did we play the last 40 games? I think top 5 in the league in points to play our way into the playoff spots. So I thought Woody did a fabulous job. The team responded to him, and I told him that he and I'd meet on early next week, Monday or Tuesday, and have a discussion. But would I like him back? Yes, I'm interested in him coming back. I want to hear what he's thinking, but I think he did a great job and was a big part of what we accomplished. You know, you look at what Connor and Leon accomplished at the playoffs. I mean, basically 2 points a game. You know, playing, you know, almost a 100-point team in LA and a 110-point team in Calgary and a 120-point team in. I mean, we played 3 of the top teams in the Western Conference, and so certainly. And then, you know, obviously Kane had almost a goal a game, and Zach Hyman had 11 goals, and you know, so I understand that. You know, now again. There was a question here, was Evander Kane. I got to find out what's going on with Evander Kane. So it's a puzzle. I got to piece all this puzzle together. I got to find out what some of these people are doing. Then I will explore making trades that would be in the best interest of the team for the 22-23 season. What am I prepared to pay some assets to try, if I think that there's a deal there that can make us better? The answer would be yes. You know, yes, you know, I've been around the league a long time, 25 years as a manager, and all 32 managers and all 32 coaches were, you know, the game is played on that 200 by 85, and you know, sometimes you just need to change the voice a little bit, but we're all trying to do the same types of things. And I think Jay came in and, like I said, he grabbed the group, took charge, made some tweaks. That's what was needed to get us going, and did a fabulous job. And I thought as the season wore on, I thought in game, you know, he coached. He made in-game adjustments and made changes on the fly, and made line changes and switched people up, and worked on and had matchups. And he did a great job, not only in having our team prepared from a game to game, but during the game, in the game, making the necessary adjustments that were needed. If somebody was going, getting them up, and somebody wasn't going, getting them down. And our team responded, and again, he was a big part of us getting to the Final Four. Do I want a number 1 goalie that's a stud to complete? Yeah, like I think 32 teams want that. It's like NFL quarterbacks. Like I mean, there's not 30. You know, it's a unique position. So there's only a small amount of those, certainly, and many of those, Mark, many of those are homegrown. They're drafted, they're developed. You know, you look at the last night's game. I mean, those 2 are homegrown. You know, Shesterkin and Vasilevsky. So certainly, we've got hopes for Stu Skinner, but I think he's 23 to really expect that he's going to come in and play 50, 55, 60 games. I think is too much to expect and too much responsibility to put on him. So I got to go through a process and figure out what to do. Where we're going. To think that we're going to end up with a number 1 guy that can play 60 games, and he's a legit number 1. He's 27, 28 years of age. The odds of that are pretty slim. But I haven't worked the phones. I don't know what other people out there are thinking. But managers, in terms of who's available, who's not available, is one available? And if is one available, they're going to want a massive price. I mean, they're not giving those guys away. They're going to want a massive price. So I don't know if one's available. And then I'm going to try to figure out a way to make our team the best that we can make it heading into September. I got to meet with Mike Smith. I thought, you know, we're in the Final Four. I thought Mike Smith, Koski, they dug in for us. They dug in for us all year. You don't make the playoffs in the National Hockey League without getting good goaltending. I thought Koski and Stu Skinner the first half of the year, and then Koski and Mike Smith. And then Mike Smith was a battler and was a big factor in us getting into the Final Four. So, but certainly Smitty's 40 years old. You met with Smitty yesterday. He gave us everything that he could. And I got to meet with him to see what he feels he's got in his tank. And he knows the league. He knows his body. And I got to gather some information. But certainly I know that I've got to make some decisions in goal between now and when we get to camp.